Man, I hate it when my parents walk in the middle of my recordings. Anyway, hey guys, this is Champion Marks here for another Pokemon narrated Wi-Fi battle. This time we got a UU battle versus a person whose name on YouTube is MadasMuk. They're using Mono Ghost Team, and that is awesome because you don't see Mono teams outside of Mono-type battles very often. But anyway, let's get the battle started. Anyway, we had to redo this battle the first time because my opponent actually forgot to bring two of their Pokemon. But yeah, I start off by going for Protect because I thought they'd go for a Trick, and I wanted to see what they'd if they would or not, so I could like switch out accordingly. But they go for a Substitute, as I go for a yeah, the Protect. But now they go for an Ice Beam. In the original battle, they got a crit, but in this battle, they get a freeze, which sucks a lot because that means I don't get my Stealth Rocks up. So yeah, sad face. But anyway, now I decide to switch out and go to my Suicune because I want to take the Ice Beam, so like better than Seed would take it anyway. So I go into Suicune because Suicune can take those Ice Beams all day. And I got the Roar, which is mainly why I brought this thing in, because I do want to get rid of that Frostlass's sub, because if it keeps that thing up, it's going to be a pain in the ass. Now, I go for the Roar here, but yeah, I'm thinking maybe it has a Thunderbolt, so I'm not entirely sure if this is going to be a good idea, but I go for the Roar anyway, because I do want to get rid of that sub as quickly as possible. They don't go for the Thunderbolt, they go for the Spikes, which is okay, I guess, because, you know, one layer of Spikes isn't that bad. I go for the Roar, roars it out, and this is basically where we left off from the first battle, where he, like, had to restart, because he had forgot two Pokemon, but anyway. I roar into Rotom. It was Dusknoir originally, but this time it's Rotom. I decided to switch out because I don't want to take that Thunderbolt, because that is going to do a shit ton to my Suicune, so I go into my Flygon. And yeah, Thunderbolt happens, but doesn't do a damn thing because it's ground type. And they switch out, which makes me think that it's maybe Choice Specs or Scarf. And I'm thinking they're going to switch into their defense bulky Pokemon, so I decided to go for the special move, which is Draco Meteor. And Cofagrigus does have a lot of defense, but not too much special defense, so it's going to do a shit ton. It does about half, but thanks to the special defense drop, I can't stay in and try and go for the kill. Plus leftovers wouldn't make it a KO anyway. So, now I decide to switch out, go into something that can effectively wall this Cofagrigus. I go into my Seed, because I'm thinking probably going to go for the Will-O-Wisp, and Will-O-Wisp is a fire move, so my thought process was that it would cure my freeze, but it misses, so I guess it don't get to see if it does or not. Someone tell me in the comments if Will-O-Wisp can cure freeze, because if it does, that would be awesome to know, but anyway. I just decided to try and get my Stealth Rocks up now, because I do want those Stealth Rocks out there for residual damage on all these Pokemon that don't have recovery. He goes into his Dusknoir, and I'm thinking, okay, what's the difference between this and his Cofagrigus? But I'm still frozen, don't get my rocks up, and this guy's gonna go for a Brick Break, and I'm like, okay, offensive Dusknoir, that's nice. It does a lot, but yeah, takes some iron damage, but iron barbs damage anyway. And yeah, it doesn't, that is just a little bit of damage on Dusknoir. I try and go for the Protect to see if I can unfreeze, but it doesn't freaking work, and they kill me with the first break. But, you know, got some iron barbs damage, so not all bad. Now, it's an offensive Dusknoir, so I want to go into something that can take a hit, and I didn't really think that it was Choice Banded, but it was, as I found out later in the battle. But anyway, I go into a Spiritomb, which, since it's a Choice Bander, even though I didn't know it, was a really awesome play, and I decided to go for the Will-O-Wisp here, because I'm thinking Will-O-Wisp on physical attacker is good. But, of course, they can't touch me, so they're going to switch out. But, you know, they just go into their Spiritomb. The residual damage is going to be nice, but, yeah, it's a special attacker, so it's not going to help too much. But, yeah, still, it's there. I don't know why, but I have an obsession over this song right now, but anyway. Get the Will-O-Wisp on the Spiritomb. Kind of want to switch out, because I'm thinking it's going to go just straight out for the Shadow Ball, and I'm going to go into my normal type, which is my Togekiss, in order to take the Shadow Ball, but they go for a Will-O-Wisp to try and, return burn me, but since Togekiss is a special attacker, it's not going to hurt all that much, but yeah. Just goes for the Will-O-Wisp, and, that's residual damage on me as well. I could decide to go for the Air Slash, just, to try and maybe flinch hacks it a little bit and get some burn damage on it. And I'm gonna see if they have anything that they want to switch into the Air Slash. They do switch out and go into Spiritomb's already on the field, stupid. They go into Rotom, and I'm like, okay, if that's the only thing they have to take Air Slash, then that's pretty good. Just go for the Air Slash. It does about a third, so I'm thinking it's not a very defensive Rotom, probably more offensive, but I see leftovers, so it's not choice, so I'm like, okay, gotta switch out now, because I really don't want to take Thunderbolt or Volt Switch or whatever, and, yeah, decide to go back into, no wait, I don't go into Flygon again, I go back into Spiritomb to try and, take it, because I was thinking they'd protect and go for the Shadow Ball or Hidden Power Ice or something. Unfortunately, they go for the sub instead of going for the attack move, so I'm like, damn, now I have to waste a turn trying to get rid of this sub. But I do have the Shadow Sneak, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. So, because it's, priority and Rotom's frail, so it can get rid of it pretty easily. Go for the Shadow Sneak. Easily going to break the sub, because Spiritomb does have decent physical attack, and Rotom has really crappy defenses. Rotom is just going to go for all out for the stab Thunderbolt, and it's not going to do a lot, but it's going to do a decent chunk, considering my Spiritomb does have plus special defense nature and quite a bit of special defense EVs. So yeah, I'm thinking just go for the next Shadow Sneak. It'll probably be a KO, because it's normal form Rotom, not appliance forms Rotom or something. But anyway, they're just going to switch out and go into their own Spiritomb to try and take the Shadow Sneak, because Spiritomb is the only thing that's not hit super effectively by the Shadow Sneaks, because, yeah, Mono Ghost Team. But anyway, Shadow Sneak's not going to do a terribly huge amount, but it's there, and since Spiritomb's only good recovery is Rest and Pain Split, it's good. And Burn's going to do its toll. So now I decide I'm going to switch out. I'm going to try and go into something that can take the Shadow Ball, but I wasn't thinking they'd go for Shadow Ball, because, they'd probably protect my Togekiss, so I go into Deoxys. I'm thinking this thing is probably the best thing to send in, because it's just going to be Death Fodder at this point, because full team Ghost, it can't really take many hits, right? Well, you'll see that my thought process changes quite a bit after seeing how much the Shadow Ball does. Barely does half. So yeah, Deoxys' defense is way more beast than I thought. Okay, seeing that damage, now my thought process is I'm just going to try and set up as many spikes as I possibly can to use Deoxys as much as possible. And yeah, I can get, some Nightshades off after I get off all those spikes to try and, just kill as much as I can. Go for this first layer of spikes. I kind of got confused after I saw that, because I used only one spike, but my PowerPoint said that I'd use two, but then I remembered Spiritomb has pressure, so I was like, duh, derp, duh. Anyway, goes for the Shadow Ball, no special defense drop, so I'm still okay to stay in, and I decided to go for the Recover to get all my HP back. And, yeah, Spiritomb can't really do too much to me, even with the super effective Shadow Ball, which is amazing, but it still has that threat of Pain Split, so, gotta be cautious of that. So anyway, I do go for the Recover. They decided to just go out for the Shadow Ball to, I guess, try and kill me off, but I guess they didn't see that I had the Recover, so, it was alright, but anyway. Now I'm just gonna go for the final layer of spikes, I believe. And my opponent is going to go for the pain split, because they're gonna predict my recover as I go for my spikes, so yeah, really didn't work out too well for him. Wait, is this the last, or is this the second layer? I forget, but anyway, they do go for the pain split, which really doesn't help them too much because I didn't go for the cover, so they don't get as much HP back as I assume they'd like to. And Burn's gonna probably take away more than they actually gain from that, which is awesome for me. And, yeah, now Spiritom's just, sitting there being all like, yo, I'm Spiritomb, I got no weaknesses, and I'm awesome. But anyway, I'm just gonna try and get up my, I believe my last player of spikes, as they withdraw their Spiritomb and go into Cofagrius. And I'm just gonna get my last, last layer of spikes out there to try and use, having entry hazards is nice, and I don't have stealth rocks out. And Cofagrius, I'm thinking, why would you send this thing in? Shadow Ball from Spiritomb, probably more powerful anyway, but I guess they want to get some residual damage of some kind out on me, and it didn't really click on them to go for Will-O-Wisp when they had Spiritomb out, but whatever. Here, I decided to go for the Toxic because it's Cofagrius. I don't want to be taken... I'm going to turn that down, because that's a little bit loud, but anyway. I go for the Toxic, because Cofagrius is bulky as all freaking get out, so I don't want to be having this thing recovering all its HP and stuff. Even though most Cofagriuses do carry Rest, I'm thinking if I get the Toxic on it, that'll force it to go for Rest sooner or later, so I can bring an attacker and just maul its freaking face off. But, yeah. Cofagrius is going to go for Shadow Ball. Does about the same, if not less, than Spiritomb's Shadow Ball, and I just decided to go for their cover here, as they go for a Will-O-Wisp, I believe. Unfortunately, their Will-O-Wisp is going to miss. Doesn't matter that much, because it's Will-O-Wisp. Burn doesn't add up for damage like Toxic does, but, if they'd gotten that, they wouldn't have to waste this next turn trying to go for another one. But anyway, now that I've got pretty much all my HP back and all my spikes out, I'm deciding to go for the offensive and go for the Night Sage to try and get rid of this Cofagrius, which is, going to be good because it's probably the bulkiest thing that does on my opponent's team. So, Nightshade does the standard 100 damage as they go for the second Will-O-Wisp to try and get the, residual damage on me, even though it's not going to help that much. But it's like with Spiritomb, it's there. But anyway, now Cofagrius is just going to get its leftovers, and with the Toxic damage, it's going to have like freaking 1 or 2 HP left, which just, yeah, why couldn't you die already? But anyway, I'll just go for the Nightshade one more time, get rid of this Cofagrius, so that the only real wall on my opponent's team is gone. I still have Spiritomb to get rid of, but Spiritomb isn't as bulky as Cofagrius is. But yeah, Cofagrius goes down, which is good, because bulk and attack... like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say anymore, but bulky thing is gone, that good for me. Anyway, burn happens, that's not that bad, because, yeah, I have no physical attacks. And they bring in Golurk here. I'm thinking they're going to try and go for Shadow Punch, because I've been staying in with my Psychic type on his Ghosts for, like, 5 or 6 turns, I think. So I decided to switch to my Purple Kazoe, because he's probably going to go for the Ghost move, thinking I'm going to stay in, because I have been, like, for last, I don't know how many turns. So, Shadow Punch does nothing, and they don't know that I have Shadow Ball on my Kazoe, so I can just go for it. They'll switch in Rotom, thinking I'm going to go for the Air Slash, and Rotom will die, which is good for me, because that's the only thing that's immune to spikes on their team. So, yeah, now they're going to have a lot more trouble trying to switch around. So yeah, I go for the Shadow Ball, hits Rotom, does a shit ton of damage, and Rotom just, it just gets its face punched in by Shadow Ball. And that puts a score at, well, what the fuck's the score anyway? I think it's 4 and 5 or something like that. Don't really know, haven't really been keeping track. But they bring in Frostlass, I guess suspecting that I was Paraflincher or something, but I am scarfed, so I just go for another Shadow Ball, and Frostlass just dies. That's good, because if that thing had gotten up another sub, it would have been a huge problem. And now they're going to decide to switch into their Dust Noir, I believe now. I was thinking this thing's only priority is Shadow Sneak, so it's pretty safe to say Saiyan. Yes, Saiyan, because Purple Kazooie is a Super Saiyan. Anyway, I thought it was safe to stay in, because I thought Dust Noir's only priority was Shadow Sneak, but apparently it can get Sucker Punch too, and completely rapes my face off. Seeing that, I'm thinking, okay, this guy's probably Choice Bander, like I've heard of, because apparently Dust Noirs actually are half-decent Choice Banders. I switch into Spiritomb thinking, you know, just go for the Will-O-Wisp to try and get some residual damage on it and completely cripple it because it's physical attacker and burn lowers attack. But they do switch out to their own Spiritomb to try and absorb the Will-O-Wisp, and they do it pretty darn well because Spiritomb doesn't take the Will-O-Wisp like anything. It stuffs. But at that range of HP, I'm thinking Shadow Sneak may be able to kill. I'm hoping it does, so they aren't able to get Pain Split off, but even if they do, Sucker Punch can probably kill. Matter of fact, I don't know why I didn't go for the Sucker Punch in the first place, because I think Pain Split does classify itself as a attacking move. At least I think it does. I'm not really sure, but anyway. I go for the Shadow Sneak because I thought at that amount of HP that Sucker Punch wouldn't be necessary, and in case they did go for a non-attacking move, Sucker Punch would, like, Shadow Sneak wouldn't fail because Sucker Punch needs the opponent to go for an attacking move for it to work. But anyway, they go for a Pain Split. It doesn't give them a whole lot of HP back, but it's enough to, you know, be worth it. But anyway, they take some burn, and after this, them going for Pain Split, they know that they're not going to be getting much more HP back, so my thought process is they're going for the attacking move, so I'm just going to go for the Sucker Punch. Hopefully this will be enough to kill it, because I think Sucker Punch has, what, double Shadow Sneak's power, if I am correct? Oh, jeez, had a voice crack there. Well, anyway, Spiritomb goes down, which is pretty good, because I believe that only leaves my opponent with 2 Pokemon left, which is really awesome, because that means the match is pretty much just winding down. They go to Golurk, I guess thinking maybe they could take the Sucker Punch better than Spiritomb could, because Golurk actually is half-decently bulky, but I'm guessing they're an offensive set, so they don't have much bulk invested aside from HP. And Sucker Punch actually does KO. Yeah, Spiritomb has more power than I'd originally thought. But anyway, now they're forced to go into their Dust Noir, and they're probably going to go for the Shadow Sneak because it's really the only option they have, because Brick Break's not going to do crap. Sucker Punch is going to fail if I go for a non-attacking move on any of my Pokemon, and since I have the ability to use Will-O-Wisp, I'm probably going to go for it. And whatever other move they have on their moveset is not stab, so it won't do a whole lot. They go for the Shadow Sneak. I live it pretty well, but not as well as I thought. Well, actually, I thought I'd die from that, to be honest, but I go for the Will-O-Wisp anyway, just in case some shit happened and they could 2-hit KO me after the burn. Oh, yeah, lol, 69 HP, I didn't even notice that, but anyway. Now that I know they're gonna go for this Shadow Sneak, I go for a Sucker Punch, and I learned something about Sucker Punch that I didn't know. I thought Sucker Punch had +2 or 3 priority, but apparently it only has +1. Yeah, didn't know that. But anyway, Shadow Sneak goes first, and I'm like, lol, what? I thought Sucker Punch had more priority than Shadow Sneak. But anyway, now they're just going to get hurt by the Will-O-Wisp, and I'm just going to go for Shadow Sneak of my own, I believe, just to go for the KO, to get rid of this Dust Noir, and seal the match. No, wait, I died to Shadow Sneak, and they died to Burn. Anyway, whatever, same results. GG! MadasMuk. It was awesome. I love your originality in using a mono team. And anyway, comment, rate, sub, and later, guys.